welcome to InfoHub Recap, where we look back at the past week's main issues. In our headlines, government ministers interact with citizens during Georgetown outreach, historic assembly of the 9 indigenous nations at launch of International Year of Indigenous Languages in Aishalton, $3 million in grants handed over to South Rupununi communities, and $24 million book mobile donated to National Library. These stories and more in this week's InfoHub Recap. The past week saw the celebration of Guyana's 9 indigenous languages at the historic launch of International Year of the Indigenous Languages in the village of Aishalton in the South Rupununi. The event was facilitated through a collaboration between the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs and the University of Guyana. Saniga Thorne has our first report.
The 9 indigenous languages of Guyana came alive today in the village of Aishalton in the deep South Rupununi as the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs in collaboration with the University of Guyana officially launched International Year of Indigenous Languages. The 9 nations of Guyana, many of whom are visiting the Rupununi for the first time, attended and spoke their dialects at the historic event. Prime Minister Moses Nagamootoo delivered the feature address and urged the indigenous nations to protect, preserve and promote their languages.
Hold on to what you have. Hold on to your languages. Preserve them, protect them, promote them. You should be proud of your languages because your languages speak about you.
Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Sidney Alicock also underscored the importance of language to the indigenous peoples and reiterated government's support to its preservation.
Languages play an extremely crucial role in everyone's daily lives, not only as a tool for communication, education, and social integration and development, but also a fountain for everyone's unique identity, cultural history, traditions, and memory.
The International Year of Indigenous Languages is a United Nations observance in 2019. It aims to raise awareness of the consequences of the endangerment of indigenous languages. Saniga Thorne, InfoHub.
Following its commissioning in 2018, Radio Aishalton 95.1 FM finally has a multitude of local voices emanating across the deep South Rupununi's airwaves.
Leah Casimiro, Natasha and Nikolai Poon of Aishalton Village are the core broadcasters at the radio station located in Aishalton Region 9. They have benefited from extensive training on broadcasting, pronunciation, scripting, program ideas, among others. At the official launch of the local programs on Saturday, Prime Minister Moses Nagamootoo updated the listeners on the current developments of the nation, especially on the recent events in the Parliament.
The police are getting involved in that, and so we believe that the Guyanese people, particularly our indigenous people who don't access the news on a regular basis, that they must understand that yes, there was an event in the National Assembly, it is being investigated, the courts are involved, the government continue to deliver services to the people of this country, and not to fall victim to what people say to them, that there is no government.
The programming will be focused primarily on development and a roundup of the news within the South Rupununi district. National news will be aired via the Voice of Guyana in Georgetown, along with educational, health and agriculture and culture, history and tradition programs. Radio Aishalton will serve some 11 villages within the Deep South Sub-District. The radio station was commissioned in 2018 by President David Granger. This $45 million radio station is the first to be established in the Deep South Rupununi and is equipped with the latest technology in radio broadcasting. Saniga Thorne, InfoHub.
On Monday, Saipem ExxonMobil, Guyana's prime contractor for subsea installation services, has offloaded its shipment of 2,684 pipes for the Liza Phase 1 project. Details from Felicia Valenzuela.
The pipes arrived in Georgetown on January 14, and according to SAPEM country manager Tarantrian Nadararaj, it's a milestone.
The first set of equipment pipes that is going to be the foundation and of the oil and gas industry of Guyana has arrived. So the pipes have arrived, We have had two sets of vessel that has already arrived now. The pipes are being offloaded from the vessel and being stored here for the purpose of offshore activity.
The pipes received comprise oil production flow lines and gas and water reinjection pipes. They will be laid on the seafloor at the Liza Phase 1 development offshore.
The laying aspect of the pipe is technical, it is challenging, it is, water depth is very high, there's a remote operating equipment required to be done. Of course, the detail is very technical, it's an engineering details. But again, just for simplify, it is just, like I explained, this vessel that's behind me, this is the FTS2. These pipes will be transported on board this vessel, and it will be welded on this vessel, be coated, and the pipes will be installed in the bottom of the sea using this vessel.
The pipes will be stored in Georgetown before being transported offshore in the second quarter of this year to be installed by the SAPEM FDS2 pipe-laying vessel. Reporting for InfoHub, Felicia Valenzuela.
The Central Housing and Planning Authority is promoting the use of alternative building construction materials, especially for low-income earners. Alexis Rodney reports.
The 4 model homes are currently being constructed at Perseverance East Bank, Demerara. The aim is to provide lower-cost building units while simultaneously reducing construction time. Anthony Ragnott, an engineer from CHNPA's project department, said while the housing unit is seeking to reduce cost, there are other factors that are being considered to ensure the buildings stand the test of time.
While we're looking at low costs and reducing the costs, we also those have to be achieved with consideration for low maintenance, strength requirements for either flat building or elevated building, also durability so that it could withstand our climatic conditions, and also fire resistance.
The model houses are being constructed by the developer Eco Housing Inc. The company's alternative materials are steel columns and metal frames along with mesh plastered with cement. Construction of the 2 3-bedroom and 2 2-bedroom houses began in October 2018 and are expected to be completed as early as next month. Eco Housing Inc.'s project manager Chris Chin said the alternative building project has been embraced by many persons in countries such as Malaysia, Indonesia and Mongolia.
We are here to do all this local housing for the people here. For more to help them low-income people to buy the house. We have a contractor from China. They try to use the steel bar to build all these houses in Guyana.
Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
On Tuesday, Sinigathon reported that over $3 million in grants were given to villages in the South Rupununi, Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo region to embark on green sustainable community projects.
The grants were handed over by Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, who led a team recently to the region. Shia's Tushao, Francis Rufino, received $1.5 million to restock the village shop and revitalize the women's group, while Kwaiko's Tushao, Ronald Ignatius, got $800,000 for constructing the building for the Kwaiko village shop. InfoHub spoke with both Tushaos, who expressed gratitude to the government for its continued support to community development.
I must thank for the startup here, what they'll give me, so that it will give me a little breeze to carry me. So this is what I intend to do. Okay, the building is there, everything is there. We have to employ a reliable person to run it.
I was about worried with this check. I need to get my work started out. Now I'm at an ease, so I can get my work started out for this year. I know it's a lot of work to be done. I already set my work plan. So then I have more work to be done with this project here.
Minister Alikak urged the villages to use the projects to bring unity among the villagers rather than division.
And this is not to say which church group you belong to or which person is not belonging to him or which party you belong to. It is for everybody. As long as you could make a livelihood out of it, so be it. And we'd like you to come together in building a community, and that's our aim.
The minister also urged them to submit proposals for 2019 as early as possible, as approximately $235 million was approved in the 2019 national budget for presidential grants. $800,000 was also made available for Chiricahua to construct a village barn. Seneca Thorne, InfoHub.
To better assist wheelchair patients and incapacitated elders, the Ministry of Social Protection on Tuesday donated 2 special needs minibuses to the Mahaika Children's Home and the Palms Geriatric Home. Ayana George has that report.
The Palms Geriatric Home and the Mahaika Children's Home today received 1 special needs minibus each, totaling $11.4 million from the Ministry of Social Protection. The buses equipped with multiple lifts and seat belts will provide extra security when transporting these special patients. The Minister of Social Protection, Amna Ali, said her ministry is committed to providing proper services to its citizens and noted it is just the beginning.
We are very happy that we can now provide this service. As you know, we have always been providing services for elderly, and this is one step further. So I want to thank my officers for the efforts they have put in to ensuring that this little program is off the ground.
Minister Ali said, along with the Palms and the Mahaika Children's Home, the buses will also provide services if the need arises to other organizations. The Social Protection Minister further noted that the Palms Geriatric Home has gone through major infrastructural development. Minister Ali.
Recently, we installed lifts at the Palms. We have done a lot of refurbishing at the Palms, and we continue to do work here so as to make life much easier at this institution.
Reporting for InfoHub, Ayana George.
With 55% of the work completed, the East Coast Demerara Road Widening Project is well on its way to being complete. Alexis is back with that story.
So far, the contractor has completed the construction of 14.2 kilometers of the reinforced concrete side drain and 473 meters of reinforced revetment. 5 of the 7 bridges, along with 10 culverts, have also been completed. Ministry of Public Infrastructure's Technical Services Manager Work Services Group Nigel Erskine said the contractor, China Railway First Group Limited, is currently concentrating on the 4-lane section. He said all utilities within that section have been relocated.
The contractor presently is focusing primarily on the paving activities. And we're hoping that by the end of January, we should have a significant portion of the paving completed within the 4-lane section, which is from Better Hope to Annandale.
According to Erskine, while there have been reports of traffic congestion on the East Coast, the ministry has a traffic management plan, which it monitors and adjusts based on the feedback received from the traveling public.
We have a hotline, so persons who have concerns, they can call us. We have a consultant that is responsible for the supervision of the project. So persons who have complaints, they can call the consultant to lodge the complaints. And the number for the hotline is 615-9072. So that's one. Secondly, we have been having regular meetings with the police for them to work along with us to assist in the management of the traffic on the East Coast. So they have been cooperating with us.
Erskine said several construction zones, diversion and speed limit signs have been set up to guide road users accordingly. The East Coast Road Widening and Improvement Project was awarded to China Railway First Group Limited in 2014. However, the physical work commenced in August 2017. The 2-year project is slated to be completed by the end of September of this year. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
Moving on to Wednesday, Minister of Natural Resources Rafa Trotman met with members of the public during his ministry's annual open day. The minister said the event is in keeping with best practices and ensures that matters of concern to the public are addressed by the government. Here's that report.
We are meeting with members of the public to hear about concerns, complaints, criticisms, recommendations, and we're doing what we can to address some of them immediately. Others, of course, will require us to take some time to do so.
Minister Trotman said occasionally ministers get too busy. However, it is important and necessary for matters of interest to the public sensitive and personal, be heard by the ministers directly.
Most of our work is hinterland-based, but of course there's an aspect that is Region 4 Georgetown based, so it's important that we engage and we get a sense of what is happening.
According to the Natural Resources Minister, some matters are simple and can be dealt with immediately, while others are referred to the appropriate departments for follow-up and subsequent resolution.
Issues have to do with mining claims, complaints. I know that with the designation of new townships, Margie for example, some miners feel that their mining claims are being taken away because the town has boundaries. We have to find ways to resolve those with other agencies, other ministries. There are going to be applications for extensions for the payment of fees because some miners claim that they can't make the payments. We invariably grant extensions or waivers of penalties for forestry matters or for mining matters, or persons may have made applications for mining lands in what is known as a closed area committee, but they have not received a response, a timely response, and so they're asking for an update.
Members of the public told InfoHub they greatly appreciated the initiative.
I'm happy that the minister would have made available this public day, because from time to time you try to make an appointment and it's either it's overbooked or various things will happen. But these are the kind of things that are needed for ministers to be able to meet the locals and to work to alleviate whatever the concerns are.
I think it is extremely important for the ministers to be able to meet with the public. The thing is, lots of times we have so many issues, and as a society I think most people like the idea of being able to tell the minister themselves about it rather than meet with, other staff members and that sort of thing. So I think that is good, especially for the development of a relationship with the people.
Well, it's an opportunity to meet with the minister. It's an opportunity to share and exchange ideas.
Reporting for InfoHub, Felicia Valenzuela.
Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Senior Counsel Basil Williams, said accountant Christopher Ram, in his application to the court, committed an error using the statutory interpretation of the Constitution. Alexis has the details.
The Attorney General was responding to arguments put forward by Attorney Kamal Ramkaran, representing Ram in the High Court, before Justice Roxanne George. Ram's application seeks to challenge the legality of the coalition government. Through his lawyer, he is asking that the administration resign from active duty and function only as a caretaker government. However, the Attorney General said it is clear that the applicant did not think through his submission. He said Ram did not consider collectively Articles 106.6 and 106.7 of the Constitution, which he said must be read together.
It's a simple thing. No less a person than the former president of the CCJ, in looking at our Constitution, to two categories because of the words all elected members. And the other categories that were, the other articles that were mentioned, if you check them, you see it's 2/3 of all elected members. Not simple or absolute.
According to the Attorney General, the Constitution does not speak to a caretaker government. He said it will be absolute chaos should each minister of government be left on his own. He submitted that the administration remains and carry out its functions accordingly. Addressing the issue of the majority, the AG reiterated that the December 21, 2018 vote could not be the same as a simple majority. He then explained to the court that an absolute majority was in fact needed for the successful passage of the motion. The Christopher Ram versus the Attorney General and Opposition Leader case heard on Wednesday is one of 3 matters before the Chief Justice following the December 21, 2018 vote in the National Assembly. On Thursday, the Chief Justice will hear the matter involving Compton Reed versus the Attorney General and the Speaker of the House. Justice George told the parties that she should make a ruling on January 31. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
On Thursday, President David Granger said the control of Guyana's national territory cannot be taken for granted. More in this Isaiah Braffett report.
The head of state was at the time addressing Guyana Defense Force officers at the force's annual officers conference. The president highlighted, as Venezuela continues to make claims to parts of the country, it is incumbent on officers to always be in a state of readiness to secure Guyana.
The Defense Force, therefore, must maintain itself in a state of readiness to secure our entire country and protect it from present and future dangers. The Defense Act charges the Defense Force with the defense of Guyana. The force, therefore, is obligated to secure the state and safeguard the entire territory from invasion, incursion, and insurrection. Incursions must be deterred. Insurrections must be suppressed. The state must remain secure.
President Granger told the officers that the defense policy is aimed at ensuring that national defense is comprehensive, encompassing air, land, and sea. The GDF, the president said, was never intended to be a coastal force, adding that it is and will remain a comprehensive national force.
Frontline villages are guardians of our national territory and patrimony. They are our first line of defense against any attempt at incursion. They are the eyes and ears which can alert the defense and police forces to hostile action which threaten public security and national defense.
President Granger assured that the government has deployed diplomacy and resources successfully to denounce acts of aggression against its territory. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
Minister of State Joseph Harmon has given the green light. Guyana is ready to host the United Nations 17th Conference on the Convention to Combat Desertification, CRIC 17, after inspecting the venue. Here again is Isaiah Braffett.
The State Minister made the declaration following a site visit of the Artichon Convention Center on Wednesday. Minister Harmon was accompanied by a team of officials.
I feel extremely proud that we will be showcasing Guyana at a major event like this. And walking around here this afternoon, looking at the preparation, I believe we are ready to welcome the United Nations to Guyana.
The State Minister noted that upon arrival, the delegates will be surprised at the level of development which has occurred over the last 3.5 years.
Many of them might have heard about Guyana, might have seen about Guyana, might have read about Guyana, but actually coming here and experiencing that level of hospitality, that level of warmth, which is the Guyanese people, I think that they will leave here with an excellent experience. They will leave here with an understanding that the people of Guyana are at one when we come to dealing with issues of an international nature.
Minister Harmon assured that the government and people of Guyana will be well represented for the duration of the conference. The Committee of the Review for the Implementation of the United Nations Conference to Combat Desertification will run from January 28 through 30. The conference will mark the first time since the 1972 Non-Aligned Foreign Ministers Conference that an event of this magnitude will be held in Guyana. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
Following the Armed Forces Attorney General and Opposition Leader case heard Wednesday, Chief Justice Roxanne George on Thursday heard the matter involving Compton Reed versus the Attorney General, former Member of Parliament Charandas Prasad, and the Speaker of the National Assembly. The Chief Justice told the parties she will make a ruling on January 31. Seneca Thorne has the details.
Senior Counsel Neil Boston, who is representing Compton Reed, argued that former Member of Parliament Charandas Prasad's vote was invalid because of his allegiance to a foreign country. Boston also told the court that Prasad was duty-bound to vote in favor of the list from which his name was extracted during the electoral process in 2015.
We feel under 153, since our electoral system is proportional representation and your name is extracted from the list of a candidate, Charandas' name was extracted from the APNU AFC list. So he cannot vote against the list from which his name was extracted. There was no such thing as conscience vote. You got to vote for the list from which your name was extracted.
Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams also rubbished Anil Nandalal's argument that the case brought by Compton Reed has no merit.
Mr. Dattadin and Mr. Nandalal were suggesting that it was like an election petition matter. And as I had to point out, it was not an election petition matter because the election petition period had already passed. And the issue now is what happens after the period has passed, could somebody who's disqualified remain and have to wait until another election period? So basically that's not it. So it's a question what the court is an FDA application under the new 2016 CPR rules. The court's hands are not tied, and so they could properly proceed by making decide that they could assume jurisdiction in the matter. Okay, so it's not fatal because they didn't come by election petition, which was since 2015, and we're now in 2019.
The court case involving Compton Reed versus the Attorney General, former Member of Parliament Charandas Prasad, and the Speaker of the National Assembly is one of 3 matters before the Chief Justice Roxanne George following the December 21, 2018 vote in the National Assembly. The Chief Justice will hear the matter involving the Attorney General versus the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Opposition Leader on Friday, January 25. The Chief Justice will make a ruling on these cases on January 31. Senika Thorne, InfoHub.
And finally, on Friday, the government anticipates that the friendship between Guyana and India will continue to grow from strength to strength in the years ahead. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu stated this during the celebration of India's 70th Republic Day at the Marriott Hotel. Rebecca Ganesh reports.
In his feature address, Prime Minister Nagamutu noted that this significant observation provides an ideal opportunity to reflect upon the long-standing relations between the two countries.
Guyana and India share close historical and ancestral bonds, which continue to deepen our cultural exchanges at the people-to-people level.
The Prime Minister said Guyana continues to benefit from its ties to India.
The bonds of friendship between Guyana and India were further strengthened with the visit to Guyana of the Honorable Dr. Satyapal Singh, Minister of State for Human Resource Development, Water Resources, and Ganga Rejuvenation and Development. During that visit, the Minister of Natural Resources, Honorable Raphael Trotman, and myself held fruitful discussions with Minister Singh on the future of Guyana-India cooperation in areas such as petroleum and technology.
India's High Commissioner to Guyana, His Excellency V. Mahalingam, explained that India and Guyana have much in common as the two nations share the same colonial past.
Since the establishment of full diplomatic relations between India and Guyana in 1968, 50 years have passed by. Not only bilateral relations between India and Guyana have been warm and friendly, but also we have consistently held common positions and supported each other in the multilateral arena. India would like to join Guyana in its efforts to promote and encourage environmentally sustainable development and its quest for green economy.
Many people throughout India celebrate the nation's Republic Day, which is a gazetted holiday on January 26th each year. It is a day to remember when India's constitution came into force on January 26, 1950, completing the country's transition towards becoming an independent republic. For InfoHub, Rebecca Ganesh.
Students of Mays Secondary School on Friday underwent a special counseling intervention undertaken by the Ministry of Education following the alleged suicide of a female student. Details in this report.
During a visit to the private school on Friday morning, Minister of Education Dr. Nicolette Henry met with, listened to, and offered support to the administration and students following the recent tragic death of a fellow student. Minister Henry told InfoHub her ministry hopes to address this issue in a holistic way.
Based on all that we've heard so far, that there are lots of social issues that ought to be addressed, I believe as a national and a holistic perspective. And what we saw there is a symptom of a larger problem. At the level of the Ministry of Education, we have undertaken several initiatives under a broad umbrella of the school health program. And therefore, I would want to see stronger collaboration with the public education system and the private education system.
The minister expressed her concern with the safety, health, and delivery of education to every child across the country and assured that her ministry will assist in every way possible. Minister Henry urged students to consult with the relevant officials attached to their school concerning the loss of their colleague. The minister also visited the home of the deceased to provide support and other intervention to the family members. Neola Dimon, InfoHub.
Several ministers of government on Friday interacted with citizens and vendors alike as they conducted an outreach at Border Market in downtown Georgetown. More in this report.
Ministers of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Sidney Alicok, Social Protection Amna Ali, Business Dominic Gaskin, and Education Dr. Nicolette Henry were among a theme of government officials who took to the streets today to listen to the concerns of the people within the Border Market area.
The idea is to see how we could be able to improve on the conditions for our people, especially in sanitation. And we have seen the drains, the rats, the ventilation, the leakage, all this needs upgrading. If we are going to truly be representative to a developing country, or to when like businesses starts to come here, our hygiene standard must be really advanced.
A big problem is the vendors are out here. They have some issues that they want addressed. There are a lot of people selling out here. As you can see, you just look around. There's a bit of confusion here. I don't know exactly what the problem is, but there clearly is a problem with the persons inside of the market. Apparently the customers aren't going inside, they're buying outside. So people inside are coming outside. So as you can see, you can hardly drive or walk through here. But there needs to be a solution that is acceptable to everybody.
What we have to do now is to try and work out how we could evaluate, as the minister would have said, assess a number of different things, and to allocate monies and resources to those various areas. Because we've allocated monies over time before, but it may not have been enough. And we'll have to tap the central government as well to be able to extend their arms so that we could be able to, come together as a team to be able to bring better relief and a better life to the people.
So we listen to the concerns of the people, and where we can help, we're very happy to help. I also looked at some of the conditions that food are being sold. For instance, I've seen meat, and I'm happy that some of them were in plastics, covered, and so because we don't want to have flies and these diseases that can be spread by vector-borne, and so we generally look at the conditions and meet the people and listen to their concerns. Some persons spoke about the need for a parking spot, and so with me I also had a member from the council of the city council, and so we'll take it on board and we'll see how quickly we can help to alleviate that situation. They want to see more of us as usual, honestly speaking, and they're happy for this venture, and they promise that they like what's happening in the country, the improvement that has been made, and they look forward to giving us their votes.
But let me say this to you, my brothers and sisters. Your government for 3 years, we have done exceptionally well to bring about development in this country. And we cannot afford to return this government to the People's Progressive Party Civic. Your country is on the way to development. Good roads. You could now drive from Georgetown to Pokwani in 4 hours. I did it yesterday. And back. You can now drive the streets of Georgetown with ease, less potholes. Yes? You will agree with me that we still got a lot more to do. But in 3 years, we have done significant improvement to this country.
Based on my interactions, it has been very positive. A lot of people are happy to see us out here this afternoon, and this is something that we will definitely continue with. Because we want to hear from the people. We've always wanted to hear from them, and we'll continue to hear from them, and we'll be very interactive and on the ground, getting an understanding of what some of the issues are, so that we can address those if they haven't been addressed in any large way at this point in time. They've expressed their confidence, and if you notice my t-shirt, I'm asking people to vote with confidence and vote for Granger as president, because we've got to go out, continue the mandate that we started in 2015. And so it's all about the confidence of the people, and I've seen the exuberance in a lot
lots of the persons who have reached out to me, and so there's a sense of confidence that is prevailing, and which is very good at this point in time.
Oh, this was really a successful afternoon. We were able to distribute flyers to most of the people, and the reception we got was amazing. People were so happy to see us, and we got complaints that they had other parties went to them before, but the reception, they were looking forward to seeing us. So we can say all in all, they were all happy, and it's a very wonderful day. We have to do some more of this. We'll probably come back again because they kept asking us if we could come again.
This has been InfoHub Recap, where we highlighted this past week's main stories. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.